right, then take the first right. Turn right on Discovery Lane, then take the first right. Turn right at the stop sign, then take the ramp on the right. Take the ramp on the right to I-4 West. In 1 mile, take exit 9 on the right to I-75 South, then keep left. Take exit 9 on the right to I-75 South, then keep left. Be in the left lane.
Population that is continuing to grow no matter how much money is being thrown at it. You have a profession that's been demonized, the officers dehumanized, and then people just want to demolish it all together. So who's going to be watching the stores, watching, the crimes being committed, trying to solve the crimes to be being committed on the street? And then you top it off by, we don't have enough officers as it is. So we're already in that crisis.
Yeah, let's look at the decline in officers since 2020. These numbers are fascinating. Look at your screen. 2020, you had about 1,900 officers. 2021, 1,830, and then 1,651. I'm looking at the normal attrition rate, and I'm asking myself, why would 300 officers all of a sudden decide to leave in just the next 2 weeks? That is not normal attrition rate for your department, Lieutenant.
Well, actually, I'll update your numbers because I just got a stat the other day on the 12th, and we were at 1,645. We had a whopping 28 recruits in the academy, which 3 days ago, we lost another 3 people. So that number's even down. So again, people are leaving this profession. We had an officer in a neighboring police department, unfortunately, take his life in their locker room. So, the devastation that officers feel, they don't want to go through that anymore. They don't want to work at a big city. They want to go somewhere else, so they just want to get out of the profession altogether.
What's the main cause of this? Is it morale, violence against cops, defund the police, all of the above?
All of the above. We're entering into contract negotiations. The mayor just released the budget projection. They're already projecting almost an $800 million deficit over the next 2 years. And San Francisco is one of the most expensive places to live. So we're trying to get a living wage to keep officers here, to attract them here. And now you're telling me, we might lose up to $800 million, projecting out 5 years, over $1 billion. How are you going to pay us, and where are you going to get that money from?
Can anything be done to reverse this trend? And if so, what?
The simple act of appreciating that people are willing to go out and work 365 days, 24/7, to say, hey, yeah, we would like to treat you well, we would like to pay you well, because we appreciate what we put on you to do. They ask us to do work that's really outside of our scope of employment. We are not social workers. We do not have the cure-all for every ill that society presents itself to. So how about starting off this, treating us with respect?
It's the low-income communities that suffer most. Pretty soon the high-income communities in San Francisco are really going to feel it if they're not already. Lieutenant Tracy McCrae, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a happy Christmas.
Thank you. You too, Carmen.
All right, now to this. 2 brave Colorado police officers rushing headfirst into an apartment complex engulfed in flames to help residents evacuate.
Aurora police, get out of the building! Police department! Police department! Evacuate the building! Get out of the building!
And those 2 hero police officers joined us early. Listen.
We thought we were going to something completely different, and when Officer Dudley arrived first, he aired that it was indeed something else, a fire. We both realized that we didn't have much time, and we had to either get in there and help as many as we could, or watch it burn.
How quickly the smoke was filling the building was alarming to me. I walked away with this with a lot of admiration for our colleagues at the Arvada Fire Protection District who do this every day. Every time we went into a room and came out, the situation was worse by half, and it was all we could do to try to get to every door as quickly as possible.
Investigators are working to determine the cause of the fire that left 1 person dead and several others hurt.
Elon Musk takes his feud with the media to the next level, suspending half a dozen Twitter accounts from some of the most liberal reporters in the country. We'll tell you why he did it.
And from Twitter to TikTok, more states are banning the app on state devices over national security concerns. So why aren't the Democrats in D.C. doing it too?
I'll take a look and see. We're checking with the administration. I don't know that will be on the agenda next week, but let's see.
Interesting. Cheryl Casoni has the latest on all of this. That's next.
Life can be a tug of war. I thought it's a good theme, something that everyone can understand. Paul McCartney shares exclusive stories and plays every song from his 1982 album, Tug of War. Steve is a musical monster.
Paul McCartney, Tug of War, a track-by-track album special.
Today, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific, on the Beatles channel.
And anytime in the SXM app. Just search McCartney.
Nyder loved working in IT, but he wanted more.
I knew I could make more money if I was certified.
His boss encouraged him to go to My Computer Career.
My manager knew that I'd be more valuable.
The experience was top-notch.
I was able to take classes on my laptop. Now I can work from home. You can get into IT within less than a year.
Become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
Check out My Computer Career. If I can do it, I know anybody can.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu. This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Welcome to the CPAP Games live from the Hayes bedroom. It's another eventful night, Bruce.
It sure is, Ron. Steve has been struggling with this CPAP.
His wife, Michelle, is trying to contain her rage.
Michelle throws an elbow.
She's leaving for the couch.
Steve should get Inspired.
Absolutely, Bruce. Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that gives you comfortable, restful sleep with the click of a remote. There's no mask and no hose. Just sleep.
Learn more at InspireSleep.com.
Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com. now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-1758. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-1758. That's 800-575-1758. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hi, I'm Steven Singer. Yep, that's me, the I Hate Steven Singer guy. People ask, what does this mean, I hate Steven Singer? Well, most other jewelers love to sell diamond studs that are cheap. They have a name for it, frozen spit. I'm serious. That's what other jewelers call their own products, frozen spit. Can you imagine buying a cloudy diamond that's milky color? Oh my, buy real diamonds from a real jeweler. Steven Singer Jewelers, who backs up every diamond with a real lifetime full trade-in value. The best money-back guarantee in the business. Here's why. Other jewelers hate our beautiful Elite diamond studs because ours are 100% eye floss and near colorless. Beautiful stuff. They come complete with our 14-karat safety silicone backs, so she never has to worry about losing them or outgrowing them, because our diamonds are such nice quality that we offer everyone a lifetime upgrade. You can trade in your Anita diamond studs and get exactly what you paid for them. I wish I could trade in my old iPhone and get what I paid. Visit me, the real Steven Singer, at the other corner of 8th and Walnut, or online at IHateStevenSinger.com. One place, one price.
Elon Musk suspending the Twitter accounts of at least half a dozen reporters late last night, including journalists from CNN, The Washington Post, and The New York Times.
Brooke Singman has the breaking details. Brooke. That's right, Todd Carly. Elon Musk's Twitter sending the mainstream media into a tailspin after suspending some accounts, including CNN correspondent Donnie O'Sullivan, New York Times reporter Ryan Mack, Washington Post reporter Drew Harwell, and former Vox reporter Aaron Rupar. Musk says they violated Twitter's terms of service when they posted direct links to an account tracking and posting his location in real time. Musk saying, quote, criticizing me all day long is totally fine, but doxing my real-time location and endangering my family is not. Musk says the accounts will be paused for 7 days, and the media is very upset about it. The executive editor of The Washington Post saying, quote, the suspension of Drew Harwell's Twitter account directly undermines Musk's claim that he intends to run Twitter as a platform dedicated to free speech. Harwell was banished from Twitter without warning, process, or explanation.
That's not all media is complaining about, Brooke, right?
Yeah, that's right. Some critics have even suggested that the reporters Elon Musk selected to release those Twitter files have been selecting information to release that supports a certain narrative. Now, Mary Weiss is one of them, and she says that's not the case. She's also calling out the media for refusing to cover the Twitter files, saying, quote, for the past few days, conservative media and social media has thought this was the biggest story in the world. The legacy press and those Americans who rely on it barely seems to know it exists. She said we are living in a culture that has been suffering from a lack of open, transparent, informed public debate. And a doctor whose anti-lockdown tweets were censored back in 2021 says the old Twitter was a breeding ground for scare tactics. Listen to this.
They wanted to create this illusion of consensus about the science.
That's right.
That didn't actually exist. They wanted to fool people into thinking that we were following the science, but in fact there was a robust debate among scientists about what the right thing to do was. And the consequence is schools closed, businesses closed, unvaccinated people lost their jobs. People suffered as a consequence of this censorship.
Musk has been clear that the same censorship will not happen on his watch. Carly Scott.
Brooke, thank you. With that, let us bring in Cheryl Casoni from our sister network, Fox Business. Cheryl, what do you make of these Twitter account suspensions?
Well, you know, Elon Musk is going to the people, right? And so he tweeted this poll, and he said, okay, well, how long should I suspend it? Should I suspend them now? Should I reinstate them in 7 days? And of course, most of them said, no, suspend them right now. So I think that, it's an open platform. I understand the criticism of him, but if it comes to doxing, like with the plane, like with that hashtag at Elon Jet, think about it. That's tracking his plane. That's public information. But he's saying, look, my family and I are being stalked and attacked. So he's worried about his personal safety. Is he using this as his personal platform to get upset and push back against people? Yeah. So,
right.
This is not a clear cut, oh, he should or he shouldn't.
Yeah, I think
it's not simple.
It comes down to what these journalists actually tweeted. If they were also tweeting his real-time updates on where that private jet was, then that is doxing. But if they were just linking to reports about a story about him being doxed, then that's totally different.
To be clear, these reporters don't know why. They're not really clear, any of them are. They've all put out statements. But look, he's still on Twitter, Musk is, and he's still posting. And this is what he says. If anybody posted real-time locations and addresses of New York Times reporters, the FBI would be investigating the hearings in Capitol Hill. Biden would give speeches about ended democracy. So he's not wrong. But I think at the same time, this does beg the question about doxing in general.
Yes.
So if I go to the police department and say someone keeps showing up to my house and they're harassing me, the police would investigate.
Right.
But online, that doesn't always happen.
Before Elon Musk took over Twitter, there was the woman who lives of TikTok, and a journalist released her address, and she went to Twitter and said, I'm being doxxed, this is bad, can you take it down? They didn't take down that information, so there's also that.
So yeah, is he showing his bias? Yes, but you know, look, he just spent $44 billion, he overpaid for Twitter. I guess he's decided this is going to be.
He says it's going to be his speech.
His speech.
Speaking of the TikTok, it seems like the walls are really closing in on TikTok.
Okay, yeah, another state banning TikTok. I tell you what, look, Mike Pompeo talked about this, Janet Yellen has talked about this, Christopher Wray. TikTok is dangerous. TikTok is harvesting your information. Don't believe Chinese officials when they tell you, oh no, TikTok, we're keeping that separate from servers in China. Absolutely, I don't believe one word of that. So now you've got New Hampshire joining the fight, right? You've got Alabama, Maryland, Oklahoma, South Carolina, a lot more. And look, the question now, what does Washington do about it? As Nancy Pelosi has asked, you're going to bring a bill to the floor, to the House floor this year. It's already been in the Senate. Here's her response. Listen to this.
Look and see, checking with the administration. Just in terms of language, I don't know that will be on the agenda next week, but let's see. But it's very, very important.
So, to be fair here, she's probably going to look at the schedule.
Okay.
All right. That is a Democrat-controlled Senate. So there's a lot of people that want to have a federal ban on federal devices for TikTok. But for now, the states are taking the lead, and I think that's a good plan. I've never signed up for TikTok, and I know it's fun to look at the videos and blah, blah, blah. I've never done it, and this is exactly why.
Also, the National Archives is making major news this morning because they could release a bunch of emails when President Biden was vice president, having to do with Hunter Biden and Burisma. What's going on here?
Okay, so this is interesting. So the National Archives has this data. It's Obama-era data. And the release date, I looked this, it's February 28th, 2023, okay? Within it, there's about 260 emails. There's images in all of this, but this has not been released to the public. The Fox went out and asked our voters, our viewers and voters, should the DOJ investigate? How important is it that they investigate Hunter Biden, the business, the foreign governments? Well, 70% said yes.
Yeah.
We're on board. Pretty sure you're going to have some investigations with the Republican-controlled House. But now, let's go back to the White House. They can claim executive privilege because remember, if they can block this, the White House will. We don't know if they will, but they can before the release date. And my guess is they're going to say yes because you have President Biden. At the time, he was Vice President Biden.
They're going to try. I think this gets fought in the courts, and I predict they lose, but we'll see.
But if they try, then that could look like an admission of guilt.
Yeah, but they don't care. They don't care.
But remember, this is the son of a vice president at the time.
Right.
He was making a lot of money. We don't know what he exactly was doing, making millions of dollars, and also using his father as, a cocktail now.
Not an expert in Ukraine, not an expert in energy, making $1 million a year. To your point, I don't think this White House has any shame. I don't think they care how it looks.
We'll see what happens in February.
All right, Cheryl, thank you so much. A lot going on. All right, one of the biggest cities in the country is bringing back school mask mandates for the start of the new year, not because cases are spiking, but as a preventative measure.
Plus, 2 Ivy League students want to make it easier to get into med school because, according to them, the MCAT exam is racist. The Dr. Martin McCary responds to that next.
Want to learn a new language but don't know where to start? Then Rosetta Stone is the way to go. As the language learning experts for 30 years, Rosetta Stone knows what really works when it comes to learning a new language, and will help you feel confident enough to speak it in the real world. Research shows the best way to learn a language is to fully surround yourself with it. That's why Rosetta Stone's dynamic immersion method is so effective. It taps into your innate ability to learn language, like how you first learned to speak as a child. You'll learn in a way that feels natural, with no tedious memorization required. Plus, Rosetta Stone's True Accent system tells you how well you're speaking each word compared to native speakers. This helps you get your pronunciation just right. Download the award-winning Rosetta Stone app today and start learning any of our 25 languages. Rosetta Stone, how language is learned.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. These are tough times for everyone, so dealing with your timeshare may not be your biggest concern. But when this passes, do you still want a lifetime of payments, fees, and commitments for a timeshare you were misled into buying?
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started the timeshare cancellation industry by exposing the ugly truth about timeshares and giving folks the straight facts. I've been fighting the timeshare giants ever since, so no one knows this industry better than me and my team. Today, we have saved our clients an average of $65,000 in lifetime payments. Imagine putting those timeshare dollars back in your pocket. Give my office a call today. I guarantee if we take you as a client, we will cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call Wesley Financial now for your free information kit. 800-722-1144. That's 800-722-1144. 800-722-1144.
If you've ever experienced the softness, comfort, and luxury of Cozy Earth bedding, you already know it would make the perfect holiday gift. Hi, I'm Tyler Howells, founder of Cozy Earth, the brand that made Oprah's favorite things with a very special holiday offer, so keep listening. We created Cozy Earth to enhance lives by offering the softest, most luxurious, and life-changing bedding in the world. 13 years and over 5,000 five-star reviews later, we've never wavered from that promise. For example, we use only the highest quality premium viscose sourced from highly sustainable bamboo. That's why our bedding is incredibly soft, lightweight, and temperature regulating, so you'll sleep at the perfect temperature year-round. Whether it's our luxury bedding, loungewear, pajamas, plush towels, and more, I know you'll find the perfect gift at Cozy Earth.
Save 40% on Cozy Earth. Hurry, holiday offer ends soon. Go to CozyEarth.com, enter SXM, and save 40%. That's CozyEarth.com, SXM. CozyEarth.com.
All right, 'tis the season. Many are shopping until they're dropping. Your friend Sean Hannity here, and I have an idea that's going to save you some money. Donate your unused vehicle to Cars for Kids. Now, with current car prices being so high, Cars for Kids donors are receiving all-time high deductions. Now, you got to hurry. Time is running out for a 2022 tax deduction. So schedule your free, super easy pickup today at carsforkids.org. And that's cars with a K for kids.org.
Paris Faulkner puts America's news in focus.
We begin here demanding answers.
Don't miss the Faulkner Focus, weekdays at 11 a.m. Eastern on Fox News Channel.
President Biden unveiling a new COVID strategy, and it sounds an awful lot like 2020. The plan includes expanding access to COVID tests, including more free tests for American households, increasing vaccine supplies and availability, preparing emergency PPE and ventilators for states, and focusing on protecting high-risk and elderly Americans. Fox News contributor Dr. Marty McCary joins me now. Dr. McCary, good morning to you. How do you feel about this plan?
Well, look, there's a political risk of getting caught flat-footed with a bad flu season or a bad COVID season and not being fully prepared with the right number of tests. But the reality is there's no reason to chase down every single case with a test of only one of the respiratory viruses that is circulating right now, and that virus ranks as a distant number 3 to influenza and RSV. So when people say, oh, I'm sick, but thank goodness I tested negative for COVID, it doesn't make sense because they all have a similar infection fatality risk.
Dr. McCary, there's also this. The Philadelphia School District is bringing back masks. They announced a mask mandate for kids from January 3rd through the 13th, so that's right after winter break. And they're saying that this is simply a preventative measure. How do you feel about that?
Well, the thing is, kids are being subjected to a mask mandate, but adults are not. And I've been to many doctors' conferences during the pandemic, and the doctors are socializing at close distances without masks, with rare exceptions. And I've been to about 7 doctors' conferences. So masks may help reduce influenza transmission, not as much reduce COVID transmission. But the problem is a mandate creates never maskers, and a mandate creates never vaxxers. So you can't put a mandate in place without good rationale. A prophylactic mandate selectively in a population that doesn't have a lobby and doesn't vote is probably not going to fly.
Yeah, and then there's some doctors who are speaking out saying the reason a lot of people are sick right now, including a lot of kids, is because they were masked up for so long and they don't have immunity to certain diseases. Is that true?
Yes, immune sheltering is one of the reasons why flu may be coming back with a vengeance right now. So we've got to consider the unintended consequences after we shelter people, and right now that may be, masking may be one of those. Look, I think if you're sick, stay home. They should put all of their efforts into that messaging. And if you have to go out in public to go to the pharmacy and you've got symptoms, then wear a high-quality mask in that setting. Mandates are problematic for many reasons.
Yeah, it's a good old-fashioned message. If you're sick, stay home. Let's not complicate the issue. When I think about kids, though, Dr. McCary, right now, and COVID, I think about Dr. Jay Bhattacharya and how we just found out that he was censored on social media, on Twitter, for saying that, the masking and keeping kids home from school could have adverse side effects on them. And we know that he was censored. And the infuriating thing about that is that he was right.
I know Dr. Bhattacharya well, and what he's feeling right now is not a sense of, vengeance or that he was right. He's feeling sad for the kids who bore the brunt of the policies that were broadcast on social media as if there was only one medical opinion. The reality was that many of us fought to keep the schools open, and that message was decelerated or downplayed. And look, the kids had no say in this entire pandemic. They sustained the harshest restrictions, being the lowest risk population in America.
Really want to get your perspective on this. There's these 2 Ivy League students that are demanding medical schools make the MCATs pass or fail, and they're saying this is in the name of racial equality. They say the test clearly favors white applicants who have the wealth and resources to help them achieve competitive scores on the test. They wrote a whole Washington Post op-ed about this.
Well, it's interesting. People who have a lot of money sometimes do take a lot of prep courses and have private tutors to train for the test, and that may not necessarily be representative of their aptitude for medical school. So there is an argument there. On the flip side, if the tests don't have as much focus as the writers are suggesting, then the grades will have more of a focus. Now, some medical schools like Johns Hopkins Medical School, and I don't speak for them, but the medical school at which I work has a long history of not requiring the MCAT. But this does raise the question, if you're a medical school admissions officer, do you want to know the actual score or just a P or F?
Yeah, always so reasoned and smart. And Dr. McCary, that's why we love having you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Carly.
All right. The Dow nosediving by more than 700 points yesterday. At the same time, American retailers are taking their biggest hit in almost a year. Charles Payne is in the studio, and he's here next.
How cool is that? Plus, first, Steve Ducey here with a look at what is coming up on Fox and Friends. Happy Friday, Steve.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Todd and Carly. Coming up on Fox and Friends starts about 9.5 minutes from right now. Congressman Guy Reschenbacher is going to share the story of a teacher trapped in a Russian prison after he was caught with medical marijuana. While he believes Brittany Griner was rescued, but Mark Fogel was not. Also, General Jack Keane is with us on this Friday, and the CEO of Samaritan's Purse, Franklin Graham, gives a major update on Operation Christmas Child, which we talk about every Christmas season. Harris Faulkner, Rachel Campos-Duffy, and Will Kane also here, and we're going to take a walk down memory lane and relive some of the highlights from 2022. It's all part of our All-American Christmas concert series. Matteo Bocelli performs Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas Tree. Absolutely jam-packed show. I'm going to show you what to make for Christmas. So we got a busy 3 hours. Kicks off just about 8.5 minutes from right now.
The fantasy football playoffs are here. To realize your fantasy football championship dream, you need to listen to the experts on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
This is a different time of the year. I want upside.
Touchdown! Bengals! From start-sit advice to late-season waiver pickups, get the best insight from our experts.
The Colts have one of the easiest schedules for running backs during the fantasy playoffs.
It's all on Channel 87 and SXM, where fantasy football championships are won.
Attention. What you are about to hear is a realistic representation of what it's like to be a small business owner without sure payroll. Listener discretion advised.
I just want to get this payroll processed.
Hey boss, where's my pay stub? Overtime isn't showing up.
May I ask you a quick question? Did you get the memo about the TPS report? We're out of snacks in the break room. Day off. I'm just really tired. I feel like
Running a business is chaotic. There's always a new hat to wear and a fire to put out, and running payroll shouldn't be one of them. Starting at $19.99, you can join the tens of thousands of small businesses that trust SurePayroll for fast and flexible payroll processing. Imagine all the time you could get back without worrying about taxes, penalties, or employee records.
Does anyone know where the mop is? Yeah, I'm gonna need the mop.
Visit SurePayroll.com for a 3-month free trial. SurePayroll, small business is our business.
Do you own a timeshare that you just don't use anymore? Maybe you owe on the mortgage or past due annual fees. Or you just want to be done, but you can't figure out how. Kubiak Enterprise has a guaranteed legal method to divest you of your timeshare ownership and save you money. Text or call 858-461-0273. Why Kubiak? They've been the trusted leaders in timeshare relief for over 10 years, with a 5-star rating, an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and winners of the Torch Award for Ethics. They're a reputable, transparent, small, family-owned and operated company with a guaranteed service. Sign up by December 1st to avoid upcoming maintenance fees. Text or call 858-461-0273. That's 858-461-0273. Text or call 858-461-0273 or visit KubiakEnterprise.com. KUBIAK Enterprise.com.
I'm Gwyneth Paltrow for Copperfit Energy Socks. What if we could make each day better one step at a time? Copperfit Energy Socks are designed for performance and built for comfort. From the lush, cushioned footbed to the targeted arch support technology and copper infused to reduce odor. Make each day better, one fabulous step at a time.
Designed with our exclusive Easy On, Easy Off feature, Copperfit Energy Graduated Compression Socks help increase circulation, reduce swelling, and provide all-day energizing support. And we've added arch support technology, a targeted compression band at the arch and ankle, designed to gently hug your foot to help ease foot fatigue. Right now, get 2 pairs of Copperfit Energy Graduated Compression Socks for only $19.99.
Copperfit Energy Socks. Put them on, power up.
Order yours now at GetEnergySocks.com. That's GetEnergySocks.com. GetEnergySocks.com.
With Christmas just around the corner, Harry and David is here to help you slay the season with gourmet food and wine for entertaining and jolly gifts for everyone on your list. Hurry, holiday favorites are going fast. Order now to have festive baskets, boxes, towers, and more delivered in the nick of time. Find everything you need to spread joy this year at harryanddavid.com and use code RADIO15 to save 15% on orders over $49. Harry and David, LLC, Medford, Oregon.
The Dow taking its largest one-day dive since mid-September after the Federal Reserve raised interest rates again in the highest level in 15 years. And amid an unexpected dip in retail sales this holiday season.
Charles Payne, host of Making Money on Fox Business, joins us now. Charles, it's great to have you here. It's not great what the futures are doing after yesterday's horrible day. Is this the end of the nice bounce that we saw in the summer and the fall? And quite frankly, the beginning of a dark winter for stocks.
It could be. I mean, that last rebound began in October. It would have been the 4th double-digit bear market bounce, right? I think what we got going on here, it's interesting. I think yesterday's session was an indictment on the Federal Reserve, specifically Jay Powell. The day before, he says, I've got to be strong. I've got to take this mallet and keep knocking this economy down because it's too strong. Specifically, workers have too much money. They're making too much money. Consumers have too much money. Less than 24 hours later, we get this retail sales number that misses by a mile. So if he's going to keep beating down an economy that might be already on its heels, what is he going to take? Where is he going to take us? Right. So now this recession question is very large. It was already a dark cloud, but now it's right over our heads and very ominous, and that's why you saw the market get hammered.
So we hear the Federal Reserve raised interest rates the highest level in 15 years. The market is in the red. Recession, recession, recession. What does all of this mean for people watching at home? Put it all together.
In their own lives, the goal right now is maybe 1 to 2 million job losses next year. Wages will stop going up. They'll plateau a little bit. People are going to be belt tightening on Main Street. They already are. It's a 1-2 punch. First, you had the runaway inflation, and now you're rewarded with it by maybe losing your job. For the stock market, it means sideways to down for a while. But one thing about the market, it tries to look forward. So the market's been down all year long. And it kind of saw this coming all year long, and maybe at a point it will turn, but that would be long before the economy turns.
We all know small businesses are the engine that drives this economy. Yesterday on Making Money, you talked to some small businesses about inflation. Let's take a listen.
How's business?
Your business is actually great. It's great because I'll tell you, Charles, I love how you have the optimism index up there because I always say, when you lose your optimism, you lose your business.
And this is where I was raised, and grandparents before me to do this, but it's just become so difficult.
From inflation to supply chain to retail theft, safety, and security. You have to pivot in tough times, but again, it's not what it was.
That's what they said specifically in general. What's your big takeaway from listening to those small business owners?
Well, their resolve, the small businesses are the highest ranked group of people in this country. They're 20 percentage points more approval than even the military. We love our small businesses. You saw reason. The grit, the determination. This guy may lose a 4th generation farm, but they're struggling. And here's a big takeaway, and I hope someone in the administration is listening. The Small Business Association, right, SBA, they've got a ton of money. They said they can't get to it, that the system is so antiquated. Like you can get on your phone and right now download an app and open a bank account before our conversation's over. They can't do that. So even though everyone's saying, hey, you have access to funds and maybe help you weather the storm, they've been trying. They're knocking their head, they're banging their heads against the wall, and they're pleading for someone to fix the system so they can survive.
Well, it could take a voice like yours to get that going.
I was shocked. I did not know that.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either. One thing that I did hear one of the guests you spoke to say was that crime is an issue for them. And you think about the economy and inflation, and then they're dealing with theft and crime, especially during the holidays, and you put it all together. What are these business owners
I've got a woman who's got us 2 stores, boutiques, and she says she's robbed every single day.
Every day?
Every day.
And
she watches them. They walk in, they take it and leave, and there's nothing she can do.
My goodness.
Every single day.
Well, we need to leave off on a positive note somehow. We have 20 seconds to do that. Any suggestions?
Yeah, follow the lead of those small business owners. They believe in America, and they're going to make it happen. Just got to weather the storm.
Awesome having you on the show today, sir. Please don't be a stranger. We love to have you.
Yeah.
Charles Payne, everybody. Making Money for the show.
All right, Fox and Friends starts right now. Bye, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Kentucky. That looks like the gingerbread house that my daughter decorated, right? What a beautiful scene.
That's why I zoomed in on it.
But I think adults live in that, right? I
think so.
Yeah.
Or is that a government home, like a government office building?
Right. That would
or
be
a firehouse or something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A government office building definitely feels like this season.
There's the best news right there. We're in single digits.
9 days.
Look at the fire just burning those socks.
Burning your sock right there, Brian, right in the middle.
And why we chose left, I'm not sure.
Left?
Left foot.
Did they treat your socks like they treated the Christmas tree outside?
It's a
fire prevention.
That, trust me, those will go on either foot.
You can't get them. No, if you left them there, if you were on top of the mantle and put your foot in there, it's left.
Yeah, but no, it's what?
The names are on the right side.
I would wear them on the inside.
Okay.
I'd wear my name on the inside. That's
upside down world. Anyway, it is a Friday, and it's going to be a big show. We've got, at the end of today's telecast, we are going to recap the past year. We have had a very busy 2022.
So when I read that we were doing that in the rundown last night, I started laughing because I said, I guarantee pickleball is going to be in there.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I see it in the elevator every day. It's unbelievable.
Ryan is a great athlete, except that one day.
Yeah.
That one day.
I never played pickleball.
He didn't do well playing pickleball.
Nice.
And he'll never live it down.
And Ainsley loves that you did great.
I practiced like days in advance for that too. All right, let's talk about this because Elon Musk is suspending the Twitter accounts of at least half a dozen reporters, including journalists from CNN and Times.
Elon says they were putting him and his family in danger by sharing an account that tracks his private jet.
Kevin Cork joins us live with the latest. Kevin, we know a couple of days ago, Elon Musk said anybody who doxes anybody else, where they put out real-time information about somebody's location, they're going to be suspended. Now we know that apparently he has used that rationale, and we know how long people are suspended for.
Yes, we do, and I'll tell you exactly how long, and maybe he'll change his mind. We'll all find out together. There was actually, believe it or not, Steve, a series of tweets from Elon Musk in which he explained why a number of journalists have been suspended for violating the platform's new policy not to share location information. Now, Musk said they'd actually stay off the platform for 7 days, although he's the guy who owns the shop. He can always change his mind. Let me share some of the tweets that we've been watching. He said they posted my exact real-time location, basically assassination coordinates, in obvious direct violation of Twitter terms of service. He later tweeted this: if anyone posted real-time locations and addresses of New York Times reporters, FBI would be investigating. There'd be hearings on Capitol Hill, and Biden would give speeches about the end of democracy. How about this? A Twitter poll that he put out there asking, okay, how about these accounts? Should I unsuspend them, like now, or maybe I should wait 7 days? A lot of people weighed in, and the majority who weighed in said he should actually unsuspend those accounts right now. As for the Washington Post, one of its journalists is among the group of those who've actually been suspended. A gentleman by the name of Drew Harwell. This is from the Post. The suspension of Drew Harwell's Twitter account directly undermines Elon Musk's claim that he intends to run Twitter as a platform dedicated to free speech. Harwell was banished from Twitter without warning, process, or explanation. As for Elon Musk, well, we have new polling data out there that sort of lets you know what our latest survey thinks most people feel about Elon Musk. So what's your opinion of the new Twitter owner? Well, still favorable by just 1 point, 44 to 43. And opinion of Twitter? Not so much, 54 to 38 unfavorable, according to our latest survey, and that's in sharp contrast to the 2018 survey, which found that it was still unfavorable, but much closer at 39-37. Now, Musk has described himself as a free speech absolutist, but when it comes to doxing, as you pointed out, there are lines that can be crossed, and apparently a group of reporters found the location of that line. Steve Ainsley and Brian, back to you.
Hey, Kevin, so I was reading this morning, it sounds like some of those reporters had talked about the feud he had with the kid who was posting public information about his jet's location.
Correct.
But I think it's unclear why the others were suspended.
You know, I've read that they were critical of Musk in general. Now, if that's the line now, then obviously that's probably not going to make him look very fair or make the platform look very good. But if there's more to it, if there's threatening language, if there was language that would, again, direct you to dox his family, then maybe he would have a stronger argument. Basically, all I can tell you, Steve, is this is his shop. He can run it the way he'd like. That's right. He can ultimately do that, VK, and so we'll all watch and see how much or how little he explains his rationale today.
Right.
Thanks, Kevin. Yeah, the amazing thing is, when we're talking about banning, suspensions, and mystery, it's never been the Washington Post, New York Times, CNN. It's forever. And so, this is the first time there's even been some interest over there. The other thing I got to give him credit for this, at least it's not a shadow man. Shadow being lands a mystery. Well, why is such and such only getting 3 retweets? Why is such and such not being seen? Why is this buried? He came out and announced it right away. Although I don't think it was the best move he's ever had.
Being transparent, because he says he feels like his family's in danger. He said you can tweet about where I used to be, where I was, but not real time, because it's affecting my family and I don't want them to be in danger.
9 kids too.
I mean, they should be able to go to restaurants and be able to go out and enjoy their lives without having to worry about someone coming up to them or throwing a Molotov cocktail at their restaurant.
Sure, but if they were just being critical of him, he's got to explain why those people were suspended.
I would like, people who are critical of me, they should be suspended, by the way. A lot of people are behind that.
We're working on that.
Okay.
So Barry
Just
Weiss.
get rid of all media. No more Saturday Night Live.
Twitter has gone dark.
Get from Friday to Sunday. So Barry Weiss, who worked with Matt Taibbi and they did the Twitter files, she has published a blog, essentially, an essay about what it was like being inside Twitter and looking at old Twitter and new Twitter. And she talked a lot to Elon Musk, and she said Musk says he paid about double what it was worth, but he said he had to, quote, chew down this hairball, which is to say he had to buy Twitter. He said Musk calls the Twitter he bought...
Chewing down the hairball?
Yeah,
gross.
Musk calls the Twitter he bought a non-profit. He wasn't pursuing earnings, but social influence. Quote, this was fundamentally an activist org. He fired 80% of the staff and said, if you didn't want to work long and hard, get out, and many did.
So she talks about how this one unelected group has so much power, had so much power in the old Twitter regime. She says old Twitter was moderated by the morals and mores of one group. Now it is moderated by the morals and mores of one man. If I took anything away from my week at Twitter, it's about power. It's about how a handful of unelected people at a handful of private companies can influence public discourse profoundly, because all of those people tend to move and think as one. There is something refreshing about Musk barging into Twitter, the Twitter tower on Market Street, and turning over the tables. But I'm not sure anyone should have that kind of power.
So I think you got to set up a board and kind of have him step back. You know, doxing is one of his things. Obviously it is. Step back. But how could he possibly be staying on top of this like this on a daily basis for years and weeks? And
especially when he has all these other companies.
Yeah, he's got Tesla's paying the price for it. Their lowest stock rate in 6 years. So a lot of people look at him, Tesla now as ideological because he's tending to balance things out on Twitter. The one other thing I'd add to this story, what Barry Weiss says, is they also list how many people at Twitter donated to Republicans and Democrats, and almost nobody donated that worked there to Republican Party. So you have these people moderating that social media platform. I'm sure Facebook's the same way, who clearly had a point of view, and that's what it was used for the longest time. He's trying to balance it out and coming off as a right-winger. Well, but he's really not.
He also said this regarding why he bought Twitter. He said, I'm not going to spend just $44 billion to reinstate a satire blog, Babylon Bee. I did it because I was worried about the future of civilization. Birth rates are plummeting. The thought police are gaining power, and even having an opinion is enough to be shunned. We are trending in a bad direction. And regarding the Twitter files, Barry Weiss said for the past few days, conservative media and social media has thought this was the biggest story in the world. We talked a lot about it because nobody else was. The legacy press and those Americans who rely on it barely seems to know it exists. We are living in a culture that's been suffering from a lack of open, transparent, informed public debate. For people to have the courage to speak their minds, they have to know at least what is happening.
See, I think it's refreshing for her because she went through it too at New York Times and ended up leaving and started writing for Substack for the Free Press. And I think she has realized, wow, how much the media, how biased they are, how they keep the stories out of the press because they don't want you to know about it. If you're not watching Fox News, if you're not reading the New York Post, you wouldn't have known about the Hunter Biden story.
That's right.
And so I think she was a product of this. She saw what happened to her, and now I think she finds it refreshing, but she's also making everyone aware, look, this is what's happening. It happened to me, it's happening to other people, and y'all need to be aware when you read certain papers or you watch certain television shows, you're not going to get the full story. She said the old Twitter, unlimited vacation days, permanent work from home, no performance reviews, and as long as Twitter was breaking even, that's all they cared about, one employee told her. Elon came in, fired 80%, and he said if you're not prepared to work long hours, you can leave.
Told me to get a bed. Yeah. Have beds in the building. And I'll add the other thing, it's going to be so fascinating to see these hearings now, because you're going to have one, instead of all the Twitter, the Twitters, the Facebooks, or Meta, whatever they call now, and Google, and everybody saying they're saying the same thing. You're going to have Twitter go, yeah, they were a mess, they were biased, they were shadow banning, and then Facebook's like, oh, we weren't. We're not going to buy that. Now it's really going to stand out unless they can provide documentation. At least Jim Jordan and company know what to look for now. And can ask specifically, were you doing what Twitter was doing, we know for sure. It's going to make it a lot more interesting.
Ultimately, though, and we started this segment where Kevin Cork was talking about how he runs the show. Elon Musk runs the show, and whatever he says goes. Barry Weiss did say that, you know, he, one person, has so much power, and wrote, Musk has business interests in China. Could he wind up suppressing info negative to China to please the Chinese Communist Party? She asked him about criticism that no one should have this much power, the old Twitter or even he, and he said, quote, I'm open to ideas. So that's what's going on behind the scenes at Twitter, thanks to Barry Weiss. Pulling back the curtain.
Right. Also, I've never seen him say anything negative about China, Elon Musk yet. So that's interesting.
Maybe it's subtle.
It's still ahead. Yep. A new poll show an overwhelming majority of Americans believe the DOJ should investigate the president's son. How quickly we could learn more about Hunter Biden's business dealings.
Plus, is the clock ticking for TikTok? The latest calls for a ban on the Chinese-owned app. You're watching Fox and Friends live from New York City. We have got a big Friday show. Look who's showing up.
And anything can happen.
The biggest moments deserve a grand stage. The World Cup final is on Sirius XM. The legendary Lionel Messi is back. Argentina will play in the World Cup final. But can he claim this elusive prize? Kylian Mbappe hopes to lead France to back-to-back World Cups, a feat last accomplished 60 years ago by Pele's Brazil.
The potential to be a truly iconic World Cup final.
Argentina against France, Sunday morning at 10 Eastern on Fox Sports Channel 83 and the SXM app.
I'm Howard Mackler of GetRefunds.com. You may have heard me talk about the payroll tax refund program that gives businesses up to $26,000 for every employee they kept on payroll during COVID. But today, I'm not going to do the talking. I'm letting a real Get Refunds client tell you everything.
I'm Evan, owner of Laveau DWI Law. I heard about the payroll tax refund and GetRefunds.com on the radio. When COVID hit my business, everything shut down. Revenue, phone calls, all business. The new cost of operating during COVID hit hard too. I had to personally fund my business. GetRefunds.com got me approved for a payroll tax refund, and with that money, allowed me to recoup losses and costs, even where I had positive income in the later quarters of COVID recovery. If you have a business, you should go to GetRefunds.com and start your claim right now.
GetRefunds.com helped their business, and we can help yours too. Go to GetRefunds.com and see if you qualify in just 8 minutes. GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
High fees and a low rate. That's what your big bank offers for your business savings. It's time to bring your business to Live Oak Bank. Convenient digital access, superior customer support, no maintenance fees, and one of the best interest rates in the country. To open your account and start growing your business savings today, go to liveoakbank.com/radio. Again, liveoakbank.com/radio to open a high-yield business savings account today with Live Oak Bank.
Staying healthy is a top priority, now more than ever. So it's time to look beyond diet and exercise and take a closer look at your water. Did you know tap water can contain viruses, bacteria, lead, pesticides, and many other contaminants? Luckily, there's Aquasana. Their water filters provide great tasting water out of every tap in your home and help protect you and your family from impurities inside and out. Aquasana water filters remove the contaminants you worry about most. And they're also eco-friendly, low maintenance, and engineered for maximum performance. They're a must for a healthy home and happy family. From whole house and countertop filters to under sink and shower filters, Aquasana has options available to keep your water clean, healthy, and great tasting. Visit Aquasana.com today and use promo code SXM to get up to 50% off select systems. That's AQUASANA.com. aquasana.com. Promo code SXM for up to 50% off. Aquasana. Better water, better you.
You want to be awesome like The Miz? Do you want to be a champion like me? Whether your game is wrestling or sports betting, you are going to need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook wants you to have fun while staying responsible, so they provide you with all the tools you need to build your personal betting game plan. My finale lets everyone know when my matches are finished, and time limits in the app let you know how long you've spent and when it's time for a break. You can also control the maximum amount you'd like to place on any single bet by using DraftKings Sportsbook wager limits. And if you ever find yourself needing to hit pause, you can use the cooling off period to lock the app for up to 4 weeks. I practice safe bets, and so should you. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn about all these tools and more.
Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Christmas travel season is officially here, and Fox Weather has you covered. From the latest weather conditions to special travel reports, everything you need to keep you safe and prepared for your holiday travels. Home for the holidays, all week long on Fox Weather. Fox Weather, weathering it together.
We have some headlines for you here. Starting in Idaho, police now saying they have footage of the white Hyundai they've been seeking in connection with the murders of 4 Idaho University students. Meanwhile, Ethan Chapin's fraternity Sigma Chi issuing a statement that reads in part, "Our love and support for the Chapin family and the other families impacted by this tragic event will never fade. Ethan was a beloved member of our chapter who never failed to bring a smile to someone's face or uplift them in a difficult time." And the family of Xana Kernodle says they're starting a scholarship in her name to keep her legacy alive. A Texas judge putting President Biden's effort to end the Trump-era Remain in Mexico policy on hold while legal challenges play out. Right now in the streets of El Paso, more than 1,000 migrants are camping out in freezing cold temperatures. But despite these desperate scenes, the White House insists it's prepared for the end of Title 42 next week, which is expected to lead to an even greater migrant surge. CBP is reporting more than 53,000 border crossings in El Paso alone since October 1st. New Hampshire becoming the latest state to ban TikTok from government devices over safety, security, and privacy concerns due to the app's ties to communist China. And yesterday, podcast host Joe Rogan sat down with TV screenwriter Mark Bowl, warning him against using the app.
I just went on TikTok recently. Oh no. That's the worst. Oh my God, no, it's amazing.
That's Chinese spyware.
I know it is, but like
it really is.
I know it really is.
It really should be illegal.
Look at those eyes there. About a dozen states have already banned TikTok on state-issued devices as security concerns escalate. The San Francisco 49ers just keep on winning, taking down the rival Seattle Seahawks thanks to some trickery.
Fake toss, 2 fake tosses, and then the Kittle over the middle. Touchdown San Francisco.
Quarterback Brock Purdy's double fake touchdown helping the Niners beat the Seahawks 21-13 for their 7th straight victory, clinching the NFC West title. Those are your headlines, my friends.
So that guy was the last guy taken in the draft. He's 22 years old, not even expected to play, and now he's had 2 huge victories.
That's awesome.
It's
So
unbelievable.
irrelevant, not so irrelevant.
No kidding.
He believed in himself, and it paid off. Yes.
What do you think the key to that game was, Carly?
The running and passing.
Yeah. Right. Great answer. Once again,
Being able to get away from the tackles.
Right? Absolutely. Dana Marino just called.
Perfect analysis. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Carly.
All right. Remember Stephen Miller? He was a Trump administration official. He's got an organization now. He filed a Freedom of Information Act request with the National Archives and said, hey, can you look through all the stuff from the Obama-Biden years, and we would like to see any mentions of Hunter Biden and his dealings with particularly China and also Ukraine with Burisma, that energy company, right? And so apparently there are 69 images, according to the National Archives, and 260 email that mention Burisma and date back to 2014 when Hunter had a seat there and Joe was the vice president. So now the White House is kind of in a pickle. Will they say, hey, you know what? executive privilege. A bunch of that stuff you can't see, in which case they might not be available to see until 2029.
Yeah, the National Archives did inform the White House and told President Biden and the Obama Foundation in a letter that they wrote at the end of November that they plan to release the records. But you're right, the president could, I guess, impose executive privilege and say we're not going to allow these to be released, papers to be released to the public on February 28th, 2023.
Yeah, so you were asked, or a Fox News poll is out on this very question, how important the DOJ investigate Hunter Biden's business with foreign governments. 72% of you said yes, 26% said no. I think it's also important to point out that Republicans pretty much got this down. It's really not about Hunter and what he's doing. Yes, you got all this stuff there leads back to the vice president at the time and then the former vice president when he was between jobs. But I'll add this, we know that there was already people in the Obama administration that thought it was wrong that Hunter was on this Burisma board and how bad it looks because Joe Biden had the Ukraine portfolio because he was the vice president, actually did his job for Barack Obama. They said it looks terrible, but at the time he was mourning the death of his son Beau, and they thought, I don't want to upset him, but this is terrible. We wish he could pull him back. So there were problems in that administration with this. I can only imagine what the expansive documents would look like.
And it looked terrible because Hunter Biden was on this board and he had no energy experience.
That's true, Tim.
$83,000 a month. Right. And the only thing that on his resume that would indicate that he should be on that board was the thing at the top.
Vice president.
His name. Just his name is Biden. Now here's the thing. I predict that the White House will say executive privilege, please keep it a secret because we've reported about how they have hired a bunch of lawyers to fight everything that the Republicans come at them with their investigations and whatnot. And this would be one of the things. The New York Post writes that the legal grounds for claiming executive privilege are shaky at best because a bunch of these things are already in the hands of third parties. So the administration of Obama-Biden can't say, hey, this is a big secret when somebody else has already got the stuff.
So if you look at that Fox News poll, this is interesting. Even though the majority want the DOJ to investigate this to find out what the truth is, the majority of Republicans think that Hunter did something wrong with Ukraine and with China, and they think the president committed a crime. The majority of Democrats do not. Only 11% think that Hunter did something wrong, and 8% think that Joe Biden did.
So Greg Jarrett, he's a lawyer. He was on Sean Hannity's show last night and was asked about this. Where do you think it's going to go?
It's a crime to confer a benefit to a foreign government in exchange for something of value. That is money to your son. And if Biden tries to use executive privilege to hide these documents, that in itself would be an abuse. The privilege relates to confidential advice that, if disclosed, would impair government functions. Well, that has nothing whatsoever to do with Burisma and Hunter Biden. There's no confidential information there. You've got a criminal investigation by Biden's DOJ into Hunter Biden for corruption, influence peddling, fraud, money laundering, a variety of things, all of which documents suggest implicate Joe Biden.
Maybe the White House would make the argument that some of these documents pertain to Ukraine, which is in the middle of a big war, and so it should be kept out of the news.
They'll find a reason.
That's why they're paying a lot of money. That's why they're on retainer. So anyway, stay tuned, buckle yourself up. Otherwise, it sounds like at the end of February, we will see what the federal government has in their archives about Hunter Biden and Burisma from that administration.
All right. Meanwhile, if you like holiday cheer with a dose of history, be sure to check out a new Fox Nation special, which I'm lucky enough to host. We dig into how one cartoonist used Santa Claus to inspire Americans through the nation's most divided era, the Civil War. Understood the value in national mythology and the power of the press. And nothing appearing in the nation's newspapers was more powerful than a Thomas Nast illustration.
There's this sort of moral imperative that's carried emotionally in Nast pictures.
Santa Claus charity was actually part of the war effort. It was to get people's spirits invested.
It's his artistry and astute symbolism that resonates with people in the hardest of times.
So he blew up the whole Santa, the mythology of Santa and the magic behind it. In our darkest time, coming out of the Civil War with all the death and destruction, he started to make a name for himself and gave Christmas, put it on the path it's on right now. You can watch the rest, how Santa won the Civil War right now on Fox Nation.
Tis the season. That's great.
Well, I got a little dose of holiday cheer with my history.
Right. You have Pete going to look at Jesus' steps, and I focus on Santa.
It really, if you guys go on Fox Nation, I've been watching the Yellowstone. It's really great.
Yeah, there's a lot
some good
going on.
documentaries on there too.
And it's very
and a lot of crime, which I like watching.
Why was Kevin Costner not at our Christmas party? Because he's technically in the Fox family now.
He was there.
Oh, he was? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You did not notify me?
He kept it low key.
Your wife and I would have been right next to him.
Right.
No.
Is that right?
He is a sexy man.
He is dreamy.
No doubt about it.
Okay, it's Friday confessions.
All right, you are forgiven.
That's it.
You're now PayPal?
Brian tried to do this one time. Couldn't get it. Couldn't get it.
Yeah, I tried.
That's all it was like.
All right, meanwhile, lots going on this Friday. Still ahead as Americans celebrate the release of Brittany Griner, an American teacher remains behind bars in Russia for almost the exact offense. Our next guest is going to be talking about that. Coming up.
Christmas just around the corner, Harry and David is here to help you slay the season with gourmet food and wine for entertaining and jolly gifts for everyone on your list. Hurry, holiday favorites are going fast. Order now to have festive baskets, boxes, towers, and more delivered in the nick of time. Find everything you need to spread joy this year at harryanddavid.com and use code RADIO15. Save 15% on orders over $49. Harry and David, LLC, Medford, Oregon.
Hello, dog lovers. I'm Carl Stern, founder of Chew Works, and we have a better way for dogs to chew. Our patented Hold to Chew is a chewable chew stick holder that prevents choking and blockage and makes it easier to chew. Our 100% collagen rolls are rawhide-free, chemical-free, they're made in Wisconsin, plus they're beneficial to joints, teeth, and coat. Just go to chewworks.com, use code word CHEW, and save 25% off any starter pack. That's chewworks.com.
Regulated activities performed by a licensed affiliate.
I had no idea I could sell my life insurance policy.
Norman and Nancy Dugan for Coventry Direct.
We were about to let Norman's policy lapse because premiums have become expensive. Our kids are doing well on their own, so we just don't need it anymore.
Then Nancy called Coventry.
They were so helpful, answering all of our questions.
If you're over 65 and have $100,000 or more of life insurance, you may qualify.
After this past year, we're celebrating life. We booked some long overdue travel, and we're able to pay for our grandkids' college.
Coventry Direct has helped thousands live the life they want to live, pay for unplanned medical expenses, or supplement retirement income. When it comes to selling your life insurance, Coventry's got you covered. Call 800-378-2989 or visit CoventryDirect.com to learn more about how you can get cash by selling your life insurance. Call 800-378-2989.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/news. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you, it finds them.
some buddy cop movies, maybe?
Yeah, we're gonna get some buddy cop stuff going on. You know, me and the wife are watching. But I went in there and I clicked it. Didn't work. It's logged out. So,
Daddy didn't pay? Oh no!
No. Listen, I hope you two are really happy because my father heard the program this week, and because you guys beat that to death with Paramount and Daddy, my father, without telling me, no, really hope you're proud of yourselves.
I am.
Actually changed the password of all my accounts, of all his accounts, I should say. Changed the password on Netflix, on Disney, on HBO Max, and I was going through each one, and I was like, oh my God. Locked me out of all of them. I called him last night, and I said, you know, something's wrong with your accounts, the Netflix and everything. What's going on? You okay? He goes, oh no, I'm fine. He's like, but I don't need to hear about Daddy paying your bills. So you know what? You can go get it now. You think you're so slick? You know all my passwords? They've all been changed, and they're not what they used to be. Because he used to have run out. Yeah, no, take it easy. That might still be something. But he changed them all. He goes, and you'll never figure it out. You know, it's probably like Jack's horny, 1, 2, 3 or something. You know, one time he was cocking balls. But so thanks a lot. So last night, for the first time in my life, I ordered Netflix. And now I'm paying for Netflix. Thanks a lot. So I hope you two are happy. Yet again, you guys have cost me thousands of dollars. So, that's it. No, my daughter needs Disney. I'm shocked they haven't even come down yet. My daughter didn't notice yet. She loves Disney. And so that's going to be, who knows what. And I need HBO and Showtime. We're talking thousands of bucks. Because you guys over and over again. So thanks. That worked out great.
You can just, go ahead and buy it. So
Well,
follow-ups, if I may?
Buy Netflix. Pay for Netflix.
There's one humongous angle that hasn't been discussed as a result of this. You have portrayed one Jack Babjack, your dad, as technologically not advanced, let's say. So my assumption, in order to change a password, is there's a companion piece involved here. That there may be, I don't know, your brother involved in helping him change these passwords? Because I can't imagine Jack figuring out how to change all of these passwords. But Paul, your brother who's a year older than you, would know how to do this in his sleep.
Oh, definitely.
Did Paul have a tag team partner in this effort?
I didn't ask that, I just assumed that. My brother is his IT department. And so whenever anything goes wrong, he calls the hotline. And that hotline's answered by my brother. And he did say, he goes, I've been doing this for 2 days. He goes, it's such a pain in the ass. He goes, I have to write down every single one. Disney, I guess, gave him a really hard time. It was, calling his phone, but they had the wrong number, and it was email, and it was like a 2-voice authentication factor, whatever they call that thing. What do they call it? To authentize. And he goes, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna be pissed at you for a month. Because I think I figured it all out. He's like, I don't know if you know my Amazon yet. Don't go in there. I haven't changed that. They want like 3 different forms I had to engage in. I'm like, I don't know that one. Actually, no, I do. That's Amazon Prime. So I might have my last day of Amazon Prime on them. Oh, that's great.
More Thursday Night Football for Babs.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, it was a huge pain in the ass, and then I don't know what I'm going to do. So, thank God. That might be my last game watching Amazon Prime. I don't have that. Oh, man. Just
have you told your wife?
Oh, yeah, I did. Of course I did. She's not happy either. Oh, God. She's like, why would they do that to me? I'm like, I just don't know. She's real pissed. Oh, for the bad mind, Mad Dog Sports Radio. I'm not national chocolate covered anything. Is it really anything? I mean, you got fruits, you got the bananas, you got the mangoes, you got everything else. But you got to cover body parts. Is that what we're gonna do? You didn't say anything. Chocolate goes well with everything. All right, then let's get it on. Let's do it. Anything? All right. Brett, I can finish. That's a great covered in chocolate.
Morning Man. Back to Evan, Babs, and Willie.
Oh, let's go. Yo, someone's popping. Welcome back, by the way, to Morning Man with Evan, Babs, and Big Willie. You guys got to hear this. I love Steven Adams, my favorite NBA player of all time. Well, I didn't realize that until yesterday when I actually heard him. I was like, this guy's so funny. And I like his accent. Where's he from? Australia? Very interesting. Again, New Zealand or something? Grizzlies center. All right, he was asked on the Inside the Green Room podcast some wise words he shares with his young teammates now that he's on the Grizzlies. Listen to this.
The biggest thing that I try and teach them is what Nick Collison taught me, which is super valuable because I think too much. I think a lot, like in the games and stuff. Simple quote, bro, is just less brains, more cock and balls. Yeah, dude. It works, mate. Yeah, it's bloody brilliant.
That's a great way to live. That's one to live by. That's one to live by.
Yeah. See? So everybody says you should use your brain and not use it downstairs, that brain down there. But he says the opposite. That only works in sports, right? I mean, we actually had Dak Prescott earlier in this program we played it. We're going to play it again right now, as Dak Prescott basically has the exact same thoughts on the sidelines as he's quarterback in the Dallas Cowboys.
Off the five. What a punt! Grab it. That's to go win a game, man. Grab it. That's to go win a game.
All right, is this just sports? I mean, this is sports, right? Would any other profession go, all right, listen, yeah, I know you start on Monday. Your cubicle's over here to the left. You got your Microsoft Excel sheet there. You got some phone numbers there. And you know what? Don't use your brain. Use your cock and balls. Okay? All right, now, we got a lunch meeting at noon, so we'll see you there. By the way, walk in there, grab your nuts. Just walk right in, grab your nuts, and we'll get it going. And then you have that PowerPoint presentation at 3, okay? It's all in your calendar. But again, drop the brain. Don't overthink it. Use your cock and balls. Okay, we got happy hour at 5:30, by the way, at the end. It's a meet and greet. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Would that work in any... This is sports, man. This only works in the sports world. That's good advice that Steven Adams gave. Great advice. Dak Prescott, he's right on the sidelines. Time to nut up, folks. But that's lingo I think you only would hear in the sports world, where it actually works. Or am I wrong? Can it work everywhere? All right, guys. Well, listen.
Well, I look at this and I say, this is weird, because what Steven Adams is saying makes sense figuratively. You always take it literally in terms of anything that could grab yourself, you're all of a sudden into. But let me bring this up. If you have this mentality, not the literal, but the figurative, in your actual business world, if the person who's driving into work today and she or he is doing something in the 9-to-5 world, whatever profession that is, right? And they have that kind of attitude and mentality, are they going to be better? Or are they going to get themselves in trouble? Or they're just like, you know what? I don't care what anybody thinks. I just got a job to do. I'm not going to be gentle in my approach. I'm just going to get my job done. I feel like a lot of times that can get you in trouble, but also it makes a lot of sense to not overthink things like that. Yeah, as an overthinker, I know. I mean, like, it's just, you want to go get it.
I'm glad you included yourself in that. I was waiting for...
No, you had to.
Yeah,
Evan's got 12 meetings in his head right now. I mean, so yeah, you're right. You got to lessen it, but that gets you into trouble. You know, literally and figuratively, you're in a lot of trouble when you just go into a place and you're thinking with just, what's going on downstairs. You do have to use your brain. You do have to be smart. I mean, I was fired from a job because I went to the printer while an overnight board op, and I printed out some sexy pictures, but I sent it to the wrong printer. That's like literally getting in trouble for your cock and balls.
What were you doing with the picture stuff?
I was gonna see. It's a good question because I was gonna actually hang them up. I don't know what. Yeah, I was gonna print them out and like hang them up. But when I went to Hand Central Station, I was gonna look at them. I don't want to get into that work.
I
don't know.
Yes, Evan. What were you gonna do at work?
No, I was
put it in the janitor's closet and just wear yourself out.
No, I was messing with the guy. I wanted to leave it for him. There was a guy in the morning. I wanted to leave it all in front of his counter. But I was going to take one home. But I was going to leave it all in front of the board. Instead, I sent it to the wrong printer. I sent it to my actual boss's printer, which was locked in his office. And so that next morning was very, very, very bad for me. But yeah, in life, you should use your brain before you use your stick.
Well, somebody who's definitely using both right now. Miss Laura P has a great one on the underdog. Pete Davidson. I mean, that's maybe the greatest underdog of all time in terms of what's happened.
Definitely in 2022.
Yeah. His resume is ridiculous.
All right, but is he an underdog? I don't know. Does he feel like an underdog?
No, now he's the favorite. It's like Brady. If you start as an underdog and then you do so well for a significant amount of time, you're no longer considered the underdog. But Brady's no longer considered an underdog. He gets considered a favorite, but he had been an underdog.
But if you're Pete Davidson, where do you go from here? Like, do you still do movies and stand-up? Because you're only known for being, like, the hottest chick's boyfriend for 6 months. Until you
No, he said he can't do stand-up right now. He was on the Eli thing that on YouTube with Eli Manning on the Giants show. He literally told Eli, he said he was joking around in the way he said it, but he was being serious. Like, the streets are too hot for me to do stand-up right now because he's too famous in the moment for, like, all the non-funny stuff that he wants that to calm down, and then he'll go back out doing stand-up. So probably just movies and shows. I mean, King of Staten Island is a good movie. I think he's in another show that's coming out soon, so I think he's going to have to stick to that. He's, like, too famous almost to do
What do you mean too hot I mean, you got Kevin Hart. You got comedians doing stuff all the time.
But nobody's saying to Kevin Hart about his wife. They're not asking him about that. Like, that's
but why is it a Q&A? I mean, Chris Rock went out there after he got smacked in the face.
Dave Chappelle's been out there.
I'm just telling you what he said.
That is putting your feet up. I actually respect it.
Watch it. Maybe I got it wrong in the way I said it, but I'm pretty sure that's what he said.
That's fine. He just doesn't want to work right now because he doesn't need to. He's got his Taco Bell money. He's just living off this. You know, he's probably making lots of cash just showing his face on an Instagram thing. Yeah, and he ain't no Q&A on a stand-up. We ain't taking any questions. His entire shtick should be about Kim Kardashian and all the other girls.
Well, no, he's making it seem like he's too hot to. First of all, you think people are only going to watch him perform to ask questions about his dating life? They want to hear him tell jokes.
What comedian takes questions? He's got to deal with the hecklers. If you're a good comedian.
Comedians Q&As at the end of their sets. They do it all the time.
Davidson, lazy, just sitting around having sex with hot chicks. With a wife. God, I'm jealous.
Fantasy football playoffs are here, and Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win. Whether you have a tough start or a sit decision, you don't have to worry because Fantasy Sports Radio will help you out, including Matthew Berry's Happy Hour at 7 p.m. Eastern as part of a full day and night of fantasy football talk. Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and the SXM app. Ornament.
This is former NFL All-Pro Brandon Marshall, a.k.a. The Beast. The I Am Athlete brand is now bigger than ever. It's business, culture, music, sports, and it's coming to you every night on Sirius XM. Myself, Shady McCoy, Pac-Man Jones, B. Flowers, Auntie Dude, Antoine Walker, Mr. Shimmy himself. Always authentic, always unfiltered. Experience it every weeknight at 7 Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio with I Am Athlete Tonight, or download fresh episodes every night on the SXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's finally here. The day you've been talking about for weeks. The crew is piled in the car, and you can almost hear the crowd from here. You've got the matching jerseys, tickets in your pockets, and all of the chants memorized. Nothing beats the feeling of sitting in your seats, nachos in hand, and finally settling in. Because with just one blow of the whistle, it's game time. When you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
There is a deep connection between sports and the U.S. military, and it's reflected in many ways, like the military flyover. Seeing a military flyover at a major sporting event evokes a sense of pride and unity. From opening day to championship events, the flyover provides an opportunity for airmen to display their skills and honor the men and women who serve our country. This military moment was brought to you by Norwegian Cruise Line, offering a deep U.S. military discount and program for veterans by veterans. Visit ncl.com/military for details.
I want to break free.
Ready to break free? Book a dream vacation with Norwegian, and the second guest cruise is free in Europe, Alaska, the Caribbean, and more. Plus, enjoy free airfare for second guest, free unlimited open bar, free specialty dining, and more. Visit ncl.com, call your travel advisor, or 1-888-NCL-CRUISE. Offer ends soon. Norwegian Cruise Line. Sail safe, feel free. Ships registered the Bahamas and USA. Restrictions apply.
Are you ready? It's a Saturday triple header. Only on NFL Network. First, the Colts battle the Vikings. Then, the Ravens face the Browns. And the Dolphins take on the Bills in prime time. Back to back to back. It's a Saturday showdown triple header. Saturday starting at 1 p.m. Eastern. Only on NFL Network.
At Total Wine & More, save big on what you love this December with hundreds of deals. Get up to 35% off over 200 different wines and spirits, including Cabernet, sparkling wine, single barrel bourbon, and so much more. These savings are huge, and even better, they're on top of prices that are already the lowest in town. Deals this good don't last long, so visit Total Wine & More to find yours. Love what you find at the lowest price, only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina.
Hello, Bob. You see what's happening in Section 302 of Fans Can't Stop Banking with Bank of America? That calls for an instant replay, Dan. Okay, you see the man in free sky here. He takes out his phone, opens the mobile banking app, a couple of taps, and boom! He uses Zelle to send money to his buddy for today's tickets. Wow, what a game changer!
Bank of America's digital tools are so impressive, you just can't stop banking. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/can'tstopbanking. What would you like the power to do?
Terms and conditions apply. Just download the latest version of the mobile banking app, only available on select mobile devices. Message and increase may apply from FDIC.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
The red-hot San Francisco 49ers won their 7th game in a row and clinched the NFC West title with a victory over the Seahawks in Seattle. San Francisco the favorites to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC. Sirius XM NFL Radio has conversation and reaction on Channel 88 and the SXM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here. It's time now for Babs' Big Board on Morning Men. We have a feeling that Babchick's power rankings are slightly different than everyone else's.
Oh, yes. Oh, welcome back to Morning Men with Evan Babs and Big Willie. Yeah, the Niners, nice little win last night on Thursday Night Football. And guess what? The Niners won't be appearing on my power rankings. But, you know, you brought something up earlier, Evan and Willie, about if I'm going to get my wife a Christmas gift. So let's do it right now. Babs' Big Board of best holiday gifts. This is the weekend. You go shopping for your holiday gifts. So if you want to be in the know, get something that's right, you got to listen to the Babs' Big Board. You guys decide if I'm on point, if it's B-O-A-R-D or if it is actually B-O-R-E-D. Okay. You got to get for your significant other, the spouse out there, for the wife, jewelry. You can get jewelry. That should be on Babs' Big Board. I once got my then girlfriend, Bethany, now Babchick, a Tiffany's ring. We were in a parking lot right outside of Subway, and I said, check the glove compartment. And she opened up the glove compartment, and there was that Tiffany's ring that everybody had. Everyone had that band. It was like $90, I think, on sale. Everybody had it. It was a beautiful ring, and she looked at it, and she goes, now, what do you want to get us up? And she placed the ring back in the glove compartment. She never wore that ring. But we split it 2 to sandwich that day, and I was like, God, I love you. Why did I even think to get you a ring? So she put it back in the glove compartment. You got to get clothes. That's on Babs' Big Board. But it's got to be something sexy for doing this thing right. You go to PajamaGram.com, and you get that teddy. You go to get the yoga pants. You can go get booty shorts. You can go to Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret at the mall. I would actually go there. It's the only place I like to shop. I once went there and walked around with the woman. I said, well, I need this size. She's like, well, what size is your girl? I'm like, it's a small. She was handing me panties. She was handing me bras. I looked at everything. And then eventually, 15 minutes later, I walked out with nothing. You know why nothing? I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. I actually just walked in with a woman just so I could have her hand me panties. I probably should have admitted that. DVDs is always fun. I think people have DVD
one thing in Victoria's Secret, there's a song.
I love Victoria's Secret.
Song now, Jack's Victoria's Secret. It's a catchy song. It's very odd. If you know the words, when your 6-year-old daughter sings it a lot, very odd. But anyway, they can play it at some points.
Oh, play it then. I didn't know that's a new thing. God, I love Victoria's Secret. When I worked at Mrs. Fields Cookies, I would stare over there at Victoria's Secret, and one time I was in the bathroom making my own batter. And the manager showed up, knocked on the door, and realized what I was doing that was fun. DVDs. You gotta get it. You gotta get a movie or a show that you love. I mean, for one Christmas, for my wife, I got her the George Lopez show, season 1 and season 2. She never saw the show. And I once got her Girls Next Door on Playboy. You remember that show? But this one was uncensored, so that was really a watch for me. You gotta get kitchen appliances. Maybe a blender for drinks, a mixer for baked goods. Or what I got once my wife, a pie cutter. And you gotta get something sexy, like sex coupons. That's always fun. Or batteries. that go in the rows. Right? Isn't that the one, Will? The rose?
Yeah,
It's the rose, right?
yeah.
I gotta buy her that toy.
Number one section
Yeah.
in America.
And if you're really smart, you get one of these clone of Willies. And you actually let Willie clone it for you. Because his will be better than yours. Clone of Willie. You need jewelry, you need
Clone
clothes.
of Willie or Clone of Willie? What did you say? That's funny.
Could be
Clone of Willie.
Clone of Willie. I wanted to get one of those. I had one of those for a while. I don't know what to do with it. And I was going to give it to Willie. He was going to clone his actual Willie, give it back to me. I was going to give it to my wife and say I cloned my Willie.
Oh, nice. I'm pretty sure she was going to do this.
There's a vein popping out. The blue vein. And that, if you want to do Christmas and the holiday season right, and Hanukkah, that's what you got to do. Bad food, board, jewelry, clothes, DVDs, kitchen appliances, something sexy. And there it is. VOA. Arcade. No, VOA.
Coming up, Monday's Trends, our pick for what'll be trending in sports on Monday. And maybe Louis Dahl at Mad Dog Radio. See Dahl, the Louis Volts. Every night for 42 years. Morning, man.
This is Morning Men on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
I'm Bob Kinsey, president of the Legal Leagues Baseball Museum and host of Black Diamonds, a SiriusXM original podcast. Join me right now for a special star-studded black tie gala evening, celebrating the legacy of Hall of Famer Buck O'Neil with my friends Dave Stewart, Kenny Martin, Joe Carter, and Lee Artis. And many more. Download Black Diamonds right now on the SXM app, available with all the match rounds.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about her, but did you want to work with me then? Do you want me to work with you on your okay. That's cool. Perfect. Yeah, I put a lot of info on that. Yeah, right now is a good time, man. Cheers. Cheap, yeah. 360 in Texas. No. You can get 50 gallons every day. That's what I was going to say. If you want to work together, just make sure to put on the application, put my name down for referral, and I'll save your number. And after you get done with your orientation, I'm going to tell you how to get the best deal on the fuel. Yeah. I'm going to talk with you and tell you how to get the fuel. Buy the cheapest fuel. Yeah, but they have certain limits you can get at each place each day, so I can do it. Well, here you can get 50 gallons a day at any truck stop. That's going to be the cheapest fuel right there. At any mom and pop or any truck stop. So. Yeah. Once you get a load, they turn your fuel card on. Yep. When you get empty, they turn it off. So make sure you have your start. Yeah. That's good, man. Yeah. Put a lot of info on it. truck like that a lot of times. So. Right. Cummins are good. I mean, Cummins are good for maintenance wise, but they can work get better diesel mileage as long as you know it's not nothing wrong with it. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, they got some up there. Yeah, they had like 6 or 7 last time I flew around. Yeah, Acura's with lighter engines, so you can get better fuel on it. I mean, if you take care of it, I've been driving mine for a year and a half, changing the oil and running like a top. Yeah, that's what I got. Yeah. No, I got it back on. That's why I get 10 miles per gallon empty. I'm doing 75 miles an hour, and I got 77,000 pounds on my truck. I'm getting 7.4 miles per gallon. 75 miles an hour down the interstate. Yeah. Yeah, if I slow down, I would get better. But I'm trying to get this done. This is a one-day load, 700 miles for $1,800. I'm trying to knock out the car, trying to get it delivered and get my next one. Yeah, you got to fill out an application. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to send my name. Yeah, I'm going to send my name and truck number so you can put it on the app. Yeah. Well, usually you just tell your recruiter that, you know, you tell them my name that I see my videos and decide to come and help you. But the main thing is the application. That's what you go off of. Yeah. So on the app, say, how'd you hear about it? So, we'll be up in Chicago probably next week sometime. Monday or Wednesday. Yeah, Monday. Oh, yeah. Yeah, what's today? Third? Oh, today's Friday, yeah. I went there Friday morning now, and I went there Friday morning, did my urine test, but now you gotta pick your truck out first. But Saturday, my urine test came back at lunch Saturday. I got a dispatcher, and I did one load from Sunday to Monday, and then the following Friday I got like a $200 check. No, yeah. Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah. Fly back. you get points. No, you download the app, Pilot app, and you get the points, and then you pay for the parking. Yeah, it goes by points. So, like, I got $100 on my Pilot app right now for points. So I can buy, it's like 5-6 parking spots for me. Yeah, but I don't use it that much, you know. I just, every now and then I'll pay for parking if I have to. If I go to a big city, then I pay for parking. Not I just oh yeah, California bad. Exactly, yeah. Unless you get there at like 2 p.m. or something. Most part, yeah, you got place. Yeah, that's good, man. Well, I'm gonna store your number. What's your first name is Reggie? Yeah, I sent you already, man. I sent you a text already. Is your first name? What's your first name, Reggie?